Right, welcome to episode 7 of Bully Roundtable. I'm your host, Lawrence EBK Conway. And
This is Tony Gold from Waiting Gold Kennels.
tonight we have Ryan McCauley. I hope I said his name right. We have him joining us tonight. We may have the homie to it. We may have Ruben, what is it, Ruben Fry? Who's the guy that owns IHOP? Ruben Fry, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
we
just
may
went
have
to
Ruben Fry
our team.
tonight. So you might get to see little IHOP sitting on Ruben's lap tonight. And we I almost forgot about my man Damian McCone on the 1 and 2s. All right, Damian. So last week, well, not last week, Tuesday, we left off with a couple questions that didn't get answered. So we're gonna start with that until we get the viewers up. And while you start with that, Tony, we're gonna go to you first while I promote the link for the live feed. Go ahead, Damian.
We up and running. It's live.
Go ahead, Damon.
Okay, first question is both of you guys are really experienced, which I'm going to include you too, Ryan. And I appreciate your programs. Can you guys talk about the legacy you want to leave in the bully community and how you want to affect it?
Well, you know what? Why don't we have Ryan?
You guys are really experienced, which I'm going to include you too, Ryan. And I appreciate your programs. Can you guys?
Okay, go ahead.
Ryan, why don't we have with Ryan introducing himself? He can go ahead and go into that question right after introducing himself and his kennel.
Okay. My name is Ryan McCauley with Smoking Barrel Bullies. I own Grand Champion King Leonidas and Champion Cuba Libre. Just to answer that question, I think to me, I would want to be known as a kennel that has always strived to produce consistently, across the board, the real American bully. I don't like to use any bullshit. I don't breed any exotic dogs or anything like that. I think I own one pocket dog. All the rest of my stuff is standard. Fits the bill for the ABKC standard all the way across the board. And I don't plan on changing my program up anytime soon.
Man.
Okay.
Second.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm Tony Gold, as you know. Same thing. I mean, Ryan pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, I like pocket dogs also. I like standards, but the ultimate goal is to be consistent, to produce a consistently sound, show specimen. That's what I aim for. I breed towards a standard, and as a breeder, you want to try to aim to produce a dog that meets that standard, as much as possible. They're not all going to turn out, but that's it. We want a dog that's, has a sound temperament, is healthy, and that carries that structure, and that's about it.
Okay. Damien, we know you're new to the bully world, but go ahead and give us. Go ahead, you answer that question.
As a newbie, only thing I want to do is, if I do decide to breed, I would want to be known for consistency. Doing a lot of research in the bully community, and that's the only way you get real respect in the bully community, is that if you produce, talking and all of that is cool, but if you don't have anything to show people, then the respect and the adulation you receive won't be real. So that's what I would want to do. I would want to breed consistent litters, of course, in the pockets, because that's what I'm into, but that's pretty much it. I don't have any aspirations to own a registry or anything like that. So.
Okay, it's on me. I want to be remembered for a lot. Ultimately, I want to be remembered as a dog man, somebody who was really a dog man, somebody who was really about these dogs. I definitely want to, when I came into the game, you come into the game seeing so many different studs that you admire and that you want to have dogs and puppies off of, and you want to create dogs like. So now that I've been in it for so long, now my goal, my views change. It's like now I want to be one of those. I want to have one of those dogs that people talk about 10, 20 years from now. that I produce myself, that people will always talk about, the way they talk about Paco and Dax and Miyagi and
Remy and all those dogs.
Remy and Juan Gotti and all those dogs that have a name and a place in history. I want to be a part of that instead of just jumping on a bandwagon and helping somebody else's history be that much bigger. That's where I want to be remembered as somebody who created a badass stud that did a lot for the community. You know, somebody that when they talk back, they be like, man, you remember that guy? Now that guy did good business. That guy did this. You know what I mean? That's how I want to be remembered. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, this question, basically, she wants to know what are good ways to socialize dogs. She said she's been producing the American Bully for a few years now, but she's had a couple of issues with temperament as far as alpha males and things like that. How do you socialize dogs? What are the best ways to get that done?
Go ahead, Tony. It's on you.
So let me get it right. The question is, she wants to know what she can do to make sure that, to help in the temperament area because she's had some issues.
What's the best way
to socializing all her dogs? Yeah.
Well, we try to I try to socialize my dogs as early as possible. But again, you got to remember, you don't want to bring your puppies and subject them to any kind of illness. So. You don't want to bring them out too young. You want to make sure they're fully vaccinated. I usually won't bring my pups out till about 5 months old, so I know their immune system is pretty strong. And we just take them. We take them out and about. Let them meet people, let them play with other dogs. They're raised in a pack environment here on my yard, so. They're used to being around a lot of other dogs. So usually a dog's not a threat to them. They don't see another dog as a threat. So we don't really have a problem. But most importantly, it's genetics. It's just not about socialization. It's about the genetics. So the genetics ultimately play the biggest role in a dog. Some people say no, it's how you raise them. But I'm a firm believer that genetics is the backbone to how a dog develops and what it ultimately becomes. Its nature, is determined through genetics and through what it's been exposed to. So just take it out. Wait till about 5 months. Take it out when it's fully vaccinated. Start exposing it to people and different dogs and animals. And if it's got good genetics and it's not prone to be aggressive, you should be fine.
Okay, so you, Ryan. Go ahead.
I would definitely say I have to agree with everything he said. You look at some dogs and they're great, in the show ring. Well, those dogs are coming from other dogs that were great in a show ring. I believe that the temperament is passed down. And if you're breeding dogs, the female has an excellent temperament, the male does. Odds are your litter is going to have great temperaments across the board. But as far as socialization goes, we start as early as possible, 4 or 5 months. Like Tony said, fully vaccinated, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not kidding you. Like if I got a pup that I'm planning on showing, or doing something with, I take it everywhere. I mean, I'll take it to, if I'm going to go get some food at a drive-thru or something, I'll take it with me there. Right. If I'm going to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, take it there. I try to take it on walks. I live in a small town, and we have a town square, and it's awesome to socialize puppies there because you meet people from all walks of life. You meet them from 8 to 80, men, women, children. It doesn't matter. They're all there. You see people on rollerblades, a bicycle. There's cars driving by. I mean, it's a perfect environment to subject them to all kinds of sounds, all kinds of new sights, meeting new people. So the earlier you can start, I think the better overall temperament you're going to have for your dog. You just have to be consistent with it as far as socialization goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree 100% with everything they said. Um, I'm the same way. My dogs that I show, I take them everywhere I go with me. Everybody knows my dogs in my town, and all the stores out here, they know my dogs. I take them everywhere with me. But I always hear this, like as a breeder, as somebody who's always been around dogs, when I hear people say don't blame the breed, uh, how's it go?
What?
When they say don't blame the breed, it's the breeders. The breeders are the ones that are to blame. It's not the breed. It's not the way you raise them. I hear that all the time. It's how you raise them. It's not how you raise them. It's only to a certain extent. If a dog is bred a certain way, it's gonna be a certain way. You can control the aggression if you become alpha, but for the most part, if a dog is bred off of aggressive stock dogs that are known to be aggressive, then chances are once it reaches sexual maturity, it's gonna become aggressive. So you have to watch your breeders. And as far as socialization, I let all my puppies eat together. I let all my dogs eat together. I let all my dogs play together. And taking them out and getting them around other people and other dogs is big because they'll get along with the dogs in your pack. Easy. It's easy to get your dogs that are together to respect each other, but it's when you take them out around people and dogs that they don't know that they tend to act out. So you want to get them out and meet as many people as you can, meet as many dogs as you can, taking them stores. If you can get them in there, get them in there. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question. Oh, wow, sorry. Okay, next question. We've discussed what make up the American Bully, but I would like to get you guys' opinions on what makes up the XL Bully, because it does not seem that the Staffordshire Terrier, Bulldog, and American Pit Bull Terrier can make the XL. What do you guys think that's the added ingredient in the XL Bully?
Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah, you gotta hit the camera.
Okay, hang on. I was up here checking on puppies. Let me get back to my deal here. Okay, is it better? That better?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I got a good friend that lives probably 20 minutes away from me, and that's what he does. He's into XLs. And, I kind of know the thing with XLs to me is that they're very inconsistent all the way across the board because they've used so many different breeds and so many different lines. I mean, he's sat down and showed me the actual sires of, these big name dogs and all this kind of stuff. And it makes total sense when you see these dogs bred out and you see what they're producing generation after generation. But you're right, they haven't used the original recipe for the American Bully, because if you did use that recipe, there's no way to get those massive dogs out of that. You're not going to get these 22, 24-inch dogs out of Staffies and Pit Bulls. It's just not going to happen. They use like Cane Corso. I've seen them use Presas, Dogos. I mean, Neos, Neapolitan Mastiff. That's a big one. And you would think that it would pass down the wrinkles and stuff, but on some of the older working lines of the Neos, if you look at them, they're not wrinkled up like today's Neos are. And so a lot of these guys are putting in a whole bunch of different breeds of dog into the XL, gene pool, and I think that's one reason why they're so inconsistent is because it's made up of 10 different breeds, of dogs.
That about sums it up. Tony, you want to discuss that?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, he went through it all. That's about the same thing I would tell you, and that's the truth. Same breeds, French Mastiffs. I've seen French Mastiff cross into some of these XL.
Some of the bigger American Bulldogs.
Yep. So it's about it.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question is, you guys talked about outcrosses and things like that. but I would want to know what's some of the blood that you guys try to stay away from to incorporate it into your programs.
All right. I guess I'll go first. Well, there's different strains of different bloodlines. Some I favor, some I don't. Um, I I mean, I like most of the edge strains. Um, I don't care for many of the Gotti strains, but I do like some, depending on you know, what it is. But I incorporate a lot of blood. I mean, I've used gaff dogs, different Razor's Edge dogs. You know, I got some Gotti, you know, some old school Gotti in my dogs. Um, so, um, not really anything I'd oppose to unless I know that the line is unhealthy. Some of the strains are just unhealthy. I know. I hear and I see the problems that these dogs are having, so those lines I'd stay away from. Go ahead, Ryan.
For me, I mean, if I'm going to stay away from anything, it's going to be, you know, the obvious dogs that are hung up, you know, that are producing these exotic style dogs. You know, if the sire is a shorty bull and, you know, they hang it up and say it's something else, and, you know, when they breed this dog, all you get is no tails and terrible underbites, and, you know, obviously you're going to tell that that's a line that you want to stay away from. Not only that, but health problems. You know, if you got people coming forward saying, hey, you know, I've bred to this dog and it's, you know, it's throwing cleft palates, and I've bred to that dog and it's got this and that, you know, yeah, stay away from those lines. Like Tony said, you know, most of the gaff stuff is awesome. Most of the Razor Edge stuff is awesome. I personally use a lot of Gotti line in my program because I love the outcross. I think the outcross is very underrated. You know, if you're strictly a Razor Edge breeder, you're going to produce, you know, amazing show quality, awesome dogs, but it's going to be the same stuff over and over and over. You know, you're never gonna pull some dog out that just gives you that wow factor that you haven't had in your program before, unless you do an outcross. In my opinion, in my experience.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep. We gotta also too. We gotta stop people from thinking that the only way you can do an outcross is to do an edge to a Gotti dog. You can do an outcross edge to edge, and you can do an outcross Gotti to Gotti. There doesn't have to be a different bloodline for it to be an outcross. An outcross means that it doesn't share any genetic material in common in the first. They say 5. I always go with 3. If it doesn't share any common ancestors in the first 3 generations, for me, if they say 5 though, it's not. It's an outcross, even though they may both be Razor's Edge dogs. So
that's goes back to what Tony was saying. I agree with you guys 100%.
I was over there dealing with my son.
Oh no, it's okay. I agree with you guys 100%. You know, that there's different strains within the same bloodline that you can use in your program, and it would still be considered an outcross.
Okay. All right, Damien, go ahead.
Okay, this question is for Lawrence, Tony. It says, I think basically, actually it's 2 questions, I'm going to blend them, okay? Basically it says, I think this is a great concept and a benefit to the bully community. How did you guys come up with the concept, and what do you hope to do in the future with the platform?
Well, I'll take that first.
Yeah.
The concept, I mean, calling it the bully round table, you know, it allows other people to be a part of it. You know, if it's just a radio show where it's me and Tony and we're the hosts, you know, pretty much we're just talking and giving our own opinion, you know what I mean, on things. But with this platform, I can have up to 10 people on here. It just gets a little cluttered. Boss, he's over here rolling around the floor making all this noise. It gets cluttered when you have all those people, but I like to have people with different views that don't necessarily agree with each other, so people can get a different perspective than what they would get if it was just me by myself or Tony and me and Tony, you know what I mean? So, you know, because I may be wrong. everybody thinks what they learn a certain way, and if it works for them, they think it's right. But that doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean Tony's right. You know, it doesn't mean Ryan's right. But these are the things that he does that works for him. So if that helps you out, it's better to get it from more than just one source. So that's where the concept came up. Me and Tony went back and forth with it for a while. We was gonna do a radio show. Then I was just gonna do it, you know, by myself on the Facebook, but that would have just been corny. So it came up with this, and we sat back and we came up with the concept. We're still working it out and trying to make it better, but that's just the basic concept, just to be able to have more than one opinion, more than one, you know, way of looking at things and doing things. So that's me. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I mean, you know, we went back and forth. We're just looking to, you know, we wanted to do something different, and we wanted to do something that educated the community, that brought it together, and that gave everybody a voice. You know, like, I mean, the same old radio shows is boring. You know, what better than to have you know, a chat, a live chat where you can get personal with the people. You get to see their faces. You get to feel some kind of, you know, more of a bond with an individual, and you get to hear everybody's opinion. Everybody has a voice. They all have a say. It's great. I have a great time talking to different people every week. So I'm happy the way it's going so far, and I hope that, you know, the community comes together and starts participating more and keeps the questions coming, and we have new faces, new kennels, you know, sharing their views and giving their perspective on things.
And like he said, you know, it gives people a voice. Like, this is not just for kennels or big name kennels. If you're a part of the bully community, whether you breed shorty bulls, bulldogs, OEs, you know, whatever style of dog you into, there's a spot for you on here, because there's other people that are into that too that might want to hear what you got to say and what you're doing. They might not want to hear about me and Tony's program. They might not be into that style of dog. You know, so we want other people to feel like they can just come on here and kick it. As long as there's no drama, nobody trying to bash nobody, then, you know, it's open. Whatever wants to be talked about here, we can talk about it. Whatever style of dog you into. If you got dogs, you want people to see your dog, you know, put them on the camera, you know. That's what it's about.
Yeah, and he hit it. No drama, man. We want to do something with no drama. I mean, if somebody wants to have a debate, if two people have an issue, we'll allow you on. You could battle it out, but we're not going to let one person on and bash another. Nothing like that, you know. So
I like that idea, you know, about this show. I mean, obviously, this is my first time on, you know, but the way Tony and Lawrence were explaining it to me, I like this idea a lot better than going on to a board on Facebook. You know, this is like a more personal version of the old MSN boards, you know, where we can just come together and talk about the dogs and its respect all the way across the board, you know.
yeah,
We don't have any problems. We don't have any drama. You know, if one person has, say, a different opinion than somebody else, you know, talk it over, work it out. You know, there's no reason to, you know, to be hating on anybody here. And I like this a whole lot better. This is a great idea.
awesome. I'm glad you like it, Ryan. So,
Appreciate it.
and thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate you taking your time, man, coming on and, you know, and sharing your view on things.
Not a problem, man. Thanks for having me.
We want people to feel like you're just hanging out. I mean, everybody's not into clubbing. Everybody's not into being out on the street. Some of us love this dog stuff that we 24/7 with it. So, what we did, like 5 hours the first show, Tom? We went for like 5 hours, man. But, you know, just we hanging out. Pretty much that's what it's like. We all just hanging out. And we talking dogs. Normally I would call Tone or I would call somebody and we'll sit on the phone and we'll have these same conversations. But why not let everybody be a part of the conversation and say, hold on, I don't agree with that. Let me type this in. I don't agree with that. And we won't have a problem with that. If you come on the show and you don't agree with us, we're not going to kick you off. We're not going to tell you that you're wrong. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Damien.
Well, let me add to that real quick. Another thing that this platform is good for is new people. because even though there's a million kennels, a million breeders, there's not a million people willing to give you help if you're not trying to spend money with them.
Right.
I was in the bully community probably 6 months. I actually emailed the head of a registry for just general information about the breed, and he didn't contact me back till a year later when I offered him a platform to come on this show. So that's one of the things for the new people. I actually have like 6 or 7 new people consistently asking a lot of questions, because you can't get this information just by being on Facebook or YouTube searching it, because a lot of the detailed information is skipped over because, you know, the people assume that they're speaking to other breeders. So the commercial aspect of this is what really is helping get new people involved in the breed. I've gotten a bunch of contact for about people who are not even in the breed, just saying they like the show and the flow of information.
That's what's up. And Damien, you've been a big help, man. I just want you to know that, man, because you know, it would have took me a lot longer to figure this out than, you know. And that's the other thing. It wasn't just me and Tone. Like I said, I didn't understand it. So Damien was the one that actually guided me through learning how to use it. And I still got some more stuff I need to learn, you know, to get it better. We need to be on time a little more. But, you know, we getting there. And we wanted to get bigger. Like I said, don't be afraid to come on, and don't feel like, you know, as long as you contribute to the conversation, that's all we need. We don't need you to know everything. We don't know everything. We don't need you to, you know, come on and be a big breeder and have a big following. If you want to talk dogs, hit me up. Send me your email address. You can come on. As long as you're going to participate in the conversation, you can rock out on the pen. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, got a question for you guys. Fairly new to the breed, got my first female in heat. How many times do you guys breed a female before you retire her? And what's the steps? Do you guys skip a year, skip a heat? How do you guys make that decision?
Great question. Because that leads into something else that's really important. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay. Well, all right. So we'll touch on everything here as far as the breeding of the females. Well, typically for myself, I don't really focus on the age too much. I mean, of course, the female has to be mature enough. I wait till a dog is fully mature. The way I know what area she's strong in. You know, a lot of dogs take a while to mature, so you want to be able to pair them up with the correct mate. So I wait to see what they develop into, what kind of flaws they develop, and then I'll breed them once I find a mate. I usually only breed a dog twice. I mean, it depends. I have bred a female more than that, but I usually don't. I do every breeding, you know, for a reason and to better my program. So every breeding I do is for myself. I'm going to keep a bunch of puppies out of the litter so that they contribute to my program. So usually I don't have a need to breed a female more than 2, maybe 3 times, depending if some freak accident happened to one of the dogs and I've lost them at a vet or something, and I need to replace the dog, then I'll breed a female again, or I'll do a repeat breeding. I mean, females can have litters. You want to space them out because having a litter, it's hard. And depending on the size of the litter, they will drain everything out of the female. I mean, you could have a female right now. She has 10 puppies. I mean, she's literally consuming. She's having 3 scoops in the morning, 3 scoops in the evening. That is, each scoop is 2 cups of dog food. So that's 12 scoops a day, plus Ultra 24, plus an oil and vitamin supplement I add on top. And she's still pretty lean. Some females just take hard to it. Doesn't matter. They'll eat. And other females, you can keep a little bit of meat on them. You know, depending on the size of litter. So you want to give her some time to recover, depending on how hard, you know, the litter was, the birthing process, the whelping process was on your female. that's how long you have to wait. You know, you usually want to skip at least a heat in between. Go ahead, next.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I gotta agree with that. You know, I usually don't. I won't breed more than 3 times. Like you said, you already have that blood on the yard. You know, why do you want to just keep breeding and breeding and breeding? You know, I've seen guys that have bred the same female 4 and 5 times, and to me, it's just, you know, at that point you're not really breeding to better your yard. You know, you're just breeding to breed. You know, to sell puppies, produce more puppies. You know, and especially, you know, if you have a female that has to have a C-section, obviously that recovery time is going to be a little longer than a natural birth. But I never breed back to back. You know, I might skip a heat, maybe even 2 in between before I'm going to breed, you know, that female again. You know, it may be longer than that. You know, but I don't ever go back to back. You know, they say, you know, and you're going to get the argument from some people who are going to try to tell you, well, in nature, you know, wild dogs, you know, they breed back to back to back to back their entire lives. Well, these aren't wild dogs. These are domesticated animals that man has had a hand in creating. You know, you don't see American bullies running the plains of Africa. You know what I mean? So, to me, I think, you know, think of it as childbirth. You know, are you gonna want your wife just popping out a kid every 9 months? Like, no, you're not. You know, you're gonna have to give it a break, and you know, so at least skip a heat, if not 2. That's just the way I look at it.
Okay. All right, so on me. I agree 2-3 times tops, but that question, it led me into something else that I thought about when he said that. You got to be careful too when you don't breed your
I already know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going. Go ahead.
When you don't breed your females, it can cause them to catch pyometra. So you got to be careful with waiting too long in between breedings also, because whether you breed them or not, their uterus still contracts and expands, whether you breed them or not. And then when their uterus expands, it stretches and it creates pockets. When you don't breed them, their immune system drops, and then it allows bacteria to grow in those pockets, and that's what causes the dogs to catch pyometra. So you want to be careful with waiting too long in between breeding your dogs also. But 2 to 3 times tops, I would breed a female.
I think an easy way to prevent that is on your off cycles when you're not breeding. You know, you can treat them with antibiotics. That way, when the uterus is contracting and expanding, you know, you're not harboring bacteria within it.
Right.
That's very true. That's what I started to do. You know, cephalexin is a very good antibiotic. You know, to prevent pyometra or to get rid of the early stages of it. So, you know, and in the bullies, unfortunately, that's something we deal with. Pyometra is pretty common. To where with American Pit Bull Terriers, I never dealt with it once. Never had that problem.
I never heard of it until I started dealing with bullies.
Yeah. So, because of the bulldog influence, I think they're just more prone to it. But, yeah. That's it, man. You know, when you're off season, you know, when you're off and you're not breeding them, you can treat them with, you know, with the antibiotic, like, you know, consult your veterinarian and, you know, treat them with an antibiotic, and then that should help prevent it.
And let me cut in real quick. We got a lot of new viewers on, a couple new viewers on. For those that just came on, like I said before, if you want to come on, inbox me on Facebook. Or inbox Damien or Tony your email address. We'll send you an invite. If you got something you want to say, something you want to add to the conversation, more than welcome to come on. If you just want to ask questions, hit my inbox, Tony's inbox, Damien's inbox on Facebook. You can message under the video in YouTube, or you can message in the Hangouts chat area. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, got quick question from Shaka. He says, if a female needs a C-section, would you guys only breed her twice? Like if the first time she needed a C-section or the second time she needed a C-section, would you guys breed her an additional time or?
Well, yeah, I mean, usually I'm only breeding my females twice anyway, so um, it really doesn't matter, you know. A female, I've known people to breed their females 5 times, C-sections every time. I've even known people to get, you know, C-sections back to back, you know, breeding them. I don't agree with that. I suggest you don't do that at all. But
You know why people do that, Tony? There's a myth that once a dog gets a C-section, they can't have a natural birth, and that's not true.
that's not true at all.
I had a female that had 12 puppies her first litter. She had them all natural. She had 10 puppies. Her next litter had them all natural. The next litter she had 9 and needed a C-section. Then I sold her to somebody as a pet, and they ended up breeding her, and she had a natural birth. So that's not true that they can't have a natural birth after a C-section.
No, that's
You know, that's a good thing to bring up, and I think that's why that people should get X-rays. You know, day 50 to 55, your pups are going to be calcified enough to take them in for an X-ray, and to see if that head's going to be able to pass. You know, if it's not, go ahead and schedule your C-section. You know, it's a no-brainer. But yeah, I mean, you don't breed her back to back. You know, if you know it's a C-section dog, obviously give her time to recover. But yeah, 2 C-sections isn't. You know, your vet's going to be able to tell you better than anybody because he's going to have the dog open with both horns out to tell you what condition her uterus is in. You know, but to breed a dog, a C-section dog twice is not. You know, it's not a huge deal.
yeah.
That's the thing. You can breed your female more than what we breed our females. We just don't like to tear them down like that. I mean, people don't give enough credit to the way that dogs feel and think, or animals, period. But your vet, when they do the C-section, they can look at the uterus and all of that and tell you if it's okay to breed the dog again. So when you take, even after a natural birth, you take your female in for a checkup after, you know, she's recovering from her puppies, and they can tell you if it's okay to breed her again.
Yep. And where it becomes this problem is the buildup of the scar tissue also, where they make the incision. That's
Hard labors. If your dog has had a lot of hard labor, sorry, Turn, I didn't mean to cut you off. If your dog has a hard time pushing the puppies out, it's gonna put a lot of tears in her uterus. So, you know, you may want to schedule a C-section on her next birth because, you know, I had a female. She's a very small female. She had 12 puppies her first litter.
I remember that.
That kicked her ass, man. I mean, I wish, like, it hurt me a lot. Like, I wished I would have just went and got the C-section, but I didn't want to do it if she didn't need it. But then it comes to that point where you got to say, well, should I do it? Should I let her try? I let her try, but I wished I would have took her in and did it because them 12 puppies, she was in labor for like 3 days, man.
That's a lot of work on a little girl, you know.
Go ahead, Damien.
Next question from Shaka. Why do you think the C-section is so common in the American Bully breed?
Because of the bulldog influence.
Yeah, it's because of the build of the dogs. I mean, we're breeding for exaggerated features. So, you know, we got wide front ends. We got, you know, the head. You know, just the skeletal structure on the dogs, man. So, yeah, and some of the females just have a small opening back there, you know, for these big beasts. But you know, I believe Ryan has some experience with English bulldogs, correct?
Right.
So, go ahead, why don't you hit on this?
I was just saying, you know, with the American Bully, I mean, you can just look at the history and see that the breed itself, since the beginning, has evolved every couple of years. You know, you start to see shorter dogs, wider dogs, bigger heads, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people are opting for the C-section because, like you said, the bulldog influence. You know, we're trying to breed for the bulliest dog possible, these days, you know, and doing a C-section is the safest route. You know, if you're at home and your female goes into labor and she can't pass that puppy, you know, you not only risk losing your entire litter, but you risk losing your female. So by taking her in for a C-section, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, of course, the anesthesia is still, you know, you still got to watch out.
You gotta know your vet, because some of these vets use ketamine to put these dogs to sleep, and they know they're not supposed to use that stuff. They do it intentionally, if you ask me. But I wanted to say something too. A lot of times when females have trouble passing puppies that shouldn't really have problems passing puppies, that has to do with their diet. If you giving your female too much calcium,
Right.
2 weeks before she goes into labor, it'll cause her uterus not to contract. You want to give them the calcium while they're in labor if you're going to give them calcium to cause the contractions, but if you're giving them too much calcium, they won't be able to push the puppies out. And or being overweight also. Go ahead, anybody else?
He said it all right there. You know, no calcium 2 or 3 weeks, you know, before delivery, and, you know, give them some Tums, some ice cream if they're having a natural birth, you know, help them cool down a little bit. The calciums will help with the contraction during the pregnancy, and then obviously, you know, you can give, I use, I think it's called Ultra 24, the milk replacement. I give my females that, you know, while they're nursing, just to help, you know, help with the calcium supplement, you know, and that also has a ton of vitamins and all that stuff in it that you wouldn't get from just your dry kibble.
And same thing I use, you know.
So diet has a lot to do with it.
Actually, Tony put me on an Ultra 24, so I got
man. That shit is powdered gold, man.
It's good, man. For the price, man, you just can't beat it.
No, you look at other stuff. What's the one that comes in the cans that you can get at Tractor Supply? The baby blue and white cans.
Oh, yeah. That's black, or is it the other?
It is black. Yeah. But you know, you're gonna pay. I think those are like $9 or $12 for an 8-ounce can. You know, you go broke. I mean, you know, I think I give her 16 ounces at each feeding, and she eats 4 or 5 times a day. You know, while she's nursing puppies, you go broke trying to feed like that.
Yep.
Ultra 24, spot on, man. You can't beat it.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Damien.
I got a question for you guys to talk about any upcoming litters or breeding plans for the rest of this year.
On you, Tom.
I don't know. I do plan breedings, man, but then I skip over a lot of breedings that I plan. Cause like, I don't feel like taking care of a litter right now, you know? It's just a lot of work. So, I mean, I got some plans. I got some pretty muscular dogs, some little pocket bitches I have that I have high hopes for. This will be their third heat, or fourth heat. No, this will be their fourth heat, but their last heat on their third, one of them caught pyometra from not being bred. So I had to put her on a, strong dose 2 antibiotics. Luckily, we worked it out, and she's fine now. But she was really sick, so she needs to get bred. I really don't have an option here. I don't want to take the chance. The vet, said, she's going to be prone to pyometra. So, you want to breed her next time if you want to get a litter out of her. So I'm probably going to breed one of my muscular females coming up. I'm really up in the air about what studs I'm going to go to still. I have ideas. But I have some stuff. I usually do like 2 breedings a year. So that's what we'll see. All right.
I actually have pups on the ground right now. They're 6 days old.
Let's see.
Oh, that's badass breeding. I'm a fan, Ryan.
Yeah, it's Grand Champion King Leonidas and Champion Cuba Libre. We got 9 pups out of it, all blue. Everybody's fat and healthy. That's a blessing. And I'm like Tony. I mean, I try not to do more than 1 or 2 breedings a year because I'm all about quality over quantity.
Right.
So I just did this. I wanted to start the year off with a bang, so I did this, and I have one of my Leo sons, Chewy. I don't know, you guys might have seen him. I just did that. I just bred him to one of my females here, a little chocolate pocket girl. She's like heavy Goliath on top, a bunch of old school edge on bottom.
That's the same kind of stuff I'm working. That's like the litter I got right now.
Hey, we've already been through this. Me and you, you know, we're always in constant competition.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we are. We're pretty close. I mean, our blood is similar in a lot of ways. Now, it's different.
That's what's up, though.
I guess that's why we got the best dogs in the show circuit, you know?
Hey, watch out.
Damn.
Yeah. So you didn't get any tries out of that breeding, Ryan?
Not a single one, man. Leo doesn't carry any tri genes. I've bred him to a tri before, and the same exact thing happened. I think it was eight blue dogs.
Wow, that's great.
But I mean, if you look behind her, she doesn't really have a whole lot of tri either. You know,
Yeah.
I know that the Kai is back there, but you know, it's not real heavy on the tri genes. You know.
Myself, I'm the same way. I don't do a lot of breedings. When I do breed, I try to make them count. Right now, I just bred champion boss hog to Sadie. I like the results I got with Phantom. I think I'll get more of a show dog out of this breeding. So I got that plan that he's gonna go to Rousey's mom, and then I won't breed them two females anymore. And I got my uppercomers coming up. I got a couple dogs off of previous litters that I'm gonna be breeding to. So I don't like to plan them because what you like now may not be what you like when the breeding, when you're ready to breed. So I try not to plan breedings out. Like I see people, they get puppies from me, and they want to know, as far as studs, and they looking for studs for the bitches already. And I tell them, just take your time. You may see a dog right now that you fall in love with, but by the time that dog is 2 years old, you may see another dog that you love even more than that. So you don't go and put a deposit on a stud with a puppy, not really knowing where you're going. You're still learning. You're still trying to figure things out. You don't know how the female is going to turn out. You don't even know if you want to breed her. So don't lock yourself into trying to plan breedings with young dogs. If they're not of age to breed, then don't start planning to do any breedings with them.
Right. How often do we see these guys that are just getting into the breed? They get a female, they pay a stud. Does somebody get caught up in the hype of this stud they're seeing every day? They pay a stud fee, and then the dogs don't complement each other, or the breeder tells them that their puppy ends up not being breed worthy to the stud owner, and then they don't want to do. Then they tell them, you got to bring me a different female. I'm not breeding to that. Well, that's kind of a contradiction. Why would you ever?
Anything can happen to the female in between this. She can catch pyometrics. She can run off. She can get hit by cars. She can get stolen. So don't plan. Unless the dog is ready to breed, don't plan breeding.
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay, mine's in the puppies. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question is, I know you guys discuss new people new to the breed making mistakes several times before they get it right, but is there anyone in the bully community, or do you guys personally work with new people to the breed to make sure they get the pups right the first time?
Go ahead, Lawrence. Go first.
I think everybody that comes in this game makes the same mistakes. They don't realize how expensive these dogs are if you're really trying to get good dogs. They don't realize how expensive it is to breed dogs and to keep dogs correctly and stuff like that, the vet bills and all of that. So the mistake that they make is not really understanding, but the problem is not just the newcomers. The problem is that people in this game don't want to give anybody information. They don't want to help anybody. I think that's why this is so big, because you know, you can come here and ask any question you want, and we're not gonna keep nothing back from you because we're not in competition with nobody. Not that type of competition to where we feel like we need to hold people back in order for us to get ahead. That's
Right.
what the platform is for. So the mistake that they make is they don't hook up with somebody that's going to tell them, don't waste your money on dogs like that because that's all the money you have. Just wait until you have enough money to get what you really need to get yourself started, because you'll go through 6 dogs before you realize that what you're trying to spend on a dog is not going to get you what you need. You know, you'll feed your dogs the wrong way. You won't know how to worm your dogs and vaccinate your dogs the correct way. You know, socialize them, care for them. You see dogs in bad shape being cared for, you know, the wrong way because they're not being mentored. So I guess in a nutshell, the best advice I would give to a newcomer is to get a mentor that's really going to help you and not because they're trying to sell you a dog. If the only reason why a breeder is going to talk to you is because you're going to spend money with them, then don't spend no money with them.
Absolutely.
All right.
If you come to me, I know for a fact if you come to Tony and you ask, what do you think about this dog? We're not going to tell you that the dog is not worth buying if we think the dog is really worth buying. And we're not going to lie to you either. And I've talked to people on the phone for hours and, you know, never offered them a dog. Just kicked it with them about dogs and gave them advice and never even offered them a dog. If you want to buy a dog from me, that's cool. I'm not trying to force anybody to buy a dog from me in order to get help and information from me. You can come to me. My number is everywhere on the internet. You can call me and kick it with me. And I'm not going to try to sell you nothing. So get hooked up with somebody that's going to help you and not just somebody that's looking to get your money.
Right.
And you know, and it's not only that. You know, you got to think. If I think, you know, as people, you know, where we are in the community, I think it's our job to educate and inform, you know, and enlighten newcomers, you know, to the breed, because you got to think, if these guys go out and they buy 4 dogs off the bat, okay, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're just breeding dogs just to breed dogs to be a part of the American Bully community, you got to think how many puppies are being produced, you know, by these people who have no idea what they're doing. You know, they're just out there being sold to other people that have no idea what they're doing. You know, so I think just looking at it from numbers alone, that should be enough to make us want to help people, you know, to break it down and explain to them, you know, the do's and don'ts, and share our knowledge and our experience and all that stuff. Just, you know, not only to help them, but to educate them so they can help others. You know, I look at it like, you know, it's a responsibility of mine. You know, it's a job that I need to perform, you know, for the community.
All right, something that you love, though. It's a passion for you. That's the difference.
Absolutely.
You know, the difference is for guys like us, it's a passion. It's just not about the money. Of course, hey, everybody wants to make money, but you know, I'm a firm believer that it doesn't mean you compromise the quality of something or you do something wrong. If you stick to something you love and you do it long enough and you do it right, you know, you can make money. That's not my agenda with doing dogs. You know, I think a common mistake that newcomers in the breed face are trusting the wrong people. They trust the wrong people. How many people, you know, and we know, all of us deal with it because we're in a show with Ryan. How many people do you know or see that are held on a pedestal, that are role models in the community, but they're doing everything wrong?
Yep.
They're doing everything wrong. So what happens is people look, they come in the community, they see, oh, wow, look, everybody's gravitating toward this person. I'm going to buy a puppy. This guy doesn't have your best interest. He's going to tell you every puppy in the litter is great quality and it's going to become a grand champion. You know, you just look at your money. You know? So
you got and as a breeder, you know, you can't really look at it as money. Like, obviously, you're going to know your picks that are going to be, you know, that might in the right hands could become something, you know. But then obviously, you know, you got to be able to determine which ones need to go to pet homes too. You know, not you know, you have 10 dogs in your litter. Not all 10 of those dogs are going to become champions in breed stock. You know, that's not how it works.
right.
And understand, because like myself, I'm one of those breeders. I sell my puppies according to the quality. That's how I price them. So you have to understand, if you come to me and you tell me you only have a certain amount of money, and I sell you this dog, you have to understand that I'm selling you this dog at this price because of the quality of the puppy, not because I'm trying to give you a deal because they all the same, but you can have this one for that price. I let everybody know the reason why I'm selling this puppy for less money, and they understand that it's a pet. And you don't see those dogs in the community. Those dogs with pet homes. Go ahead. So,
But no, I mean, we basically touched base on. I mean, same thing you said. You know, I mean, we touched base on everything. I believe. So, like I said, you know, like you said, you know, don't go with somebody. Don't just latch on to anyone. Latch on to that person that's willing to help you and is not trying to sell you something. You know, because ultimately that person just has your best interest in mind. You know, so that's just look for the signs. Some of us, I guess, have the ability to read people a little bit better than others, and you know we're able to avoid certain people or certain situations. Others, you know, being new to the breed, it gets sucked in, and then you'll find out. But I mean, we've all been burnt with shitty dogs. You know, I've had dogs with skin issues that I paid a shitload of money for when I transitioned to the bullies. Guess what? I took a huge loss, and I fixed those dogs. I didn't breed them. I didn't want to make mine because I always had those ethics that I followed. So for me to breed 2 dogs with skin issues is going to do nothing. I would have been setting myself back. I wouldn't be where I am today. You understand? I'd probably still be trying to work those issues out. So I
while
live
at the same time producing a shit ton of puppies with those same issues, you know, that are being sold and bred. You know, so yeah, you did you do it the right way.
And it's a big problem. Skin issues are big problems in a bully breed, along with other stuff. It's because people didn't practice selective breeding. You know, they buy a dog, they want to breed it, they want their money back. You know, I'm not taking a loss on this. So you're going to breed it, and it just keeps that cycle. It keeps that domino effect going. That's it.
my first bully, I got beat. I mean, he's a nice dog, but he wasn't what I wanted. He was aggressive as hell. He had a damaged foot from his mother picking him up. He had a scar on his toe, and one of his toes was shorter than all the rest of his toes. He was smart as hell. He was mean as hell. And I had to watch him every second of the day. You know, I couldn't leave him around my son. You know.
Sound like somebody sold you a junkyard dog.
No, listen, his father was a Remy son, and his mother was a half daughter.
Hey, that's where that hotness comes in, though.
That motherfucker was hot. And then I had that was a King Louis. It was some gray line on the top, and then King Louis and Remy and all that on the bottom, and she was just as hot. And I bred them 2 dogs together, and I'll tell you what, I bred her twice, and I got calls non-stop about them puppies.
They thought
I don't know what's going on. They just tried to kill my mother's Yorkie. The dogs got into a fight, and my husband tried to stop him, and my husband got bit, and so I never bred him again. I never bred the female again. I never bred the male again. I just kept him as a pet. He was like 7 or 8. Then I gave him to my homie that I've been friends with for like 16 years.
Real quick, Lawrence.
Yeah.
First, we got a couple shout-outs to you guys for the great information tonight. We got Ball, Christina, Cameron, and Shaka. They said this show so far has been awesome, really informational. And then also wanted to touch on the subject y'all talking about, because you guys speak from a breeder perspective, but there's also a responsibility in the people who purchase dogs to know what they're purchasing. You guys can't, I mean, as breeders and as people in the community, you guys do your best, but you guys can't really know what the person who's buying the dogs want. It's up to them to do the research to really find out what type of dog they want, rather than just looking at a dog on the internet and liking it and wanting to get a pup off of them, because that may not be the ideal dog for your family or your situation, what program you're starting, whether you want to show a dog. All that stuff needs to be factored in before you spend any money, because my first bully was not my ideal bully, but he has his own bedroom in my house. lives like a king up until situation. But I didn't do the research, and that was my responsibility to do the research and know the type of dog I wanted to buy before I even spent any money. And that's a responsibility that newbies overlook. They just fall in love with Facebook dogs and all of a sudden gotta have one and can't wait.
Yeah.
When if you wait, you can actually get what you want and not have to spend the money 2 or 3 times to do so.
Man, yo, listen, we can answer this question 1,000 different ways. Another mistake new people make is basing your like off of a dog off of pictures.
Exactly. See the dog in person.
See the
If
dog.
they don't want to show you a video, a 360-degree view of the dog, or
Run
if
it
the dog
down,
doesn't show, don't trust it.
No, that's another mistake because trust me when I tell you, a lot of these dogs do not look the way they look in them pictures. So,
And that also goes back to the first question that we had this evening. You know, when they said, well, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to leave to this bully world and its consistency? So don't only look at, you know, oh man, I love this stud. Look into their program. You know, look into what they're producing. You know, look into if that's a dog that you're gonna want years down the line. You know, don't just buy into hype. You know, don't just buy it because it's a badass stud. Look into the female. Look and see if she's ever been bred before, you know, or what's coming off of her lines too. You know, the best advice I can give you is do your homework. You know, when I made the transition from bulldogs into bullies, it took me 1.5 to 2 years before I got into bullies, just because I wanted to do as much research and as much homework as I could. You know, and ultimately that's I think that's what has led to my success is I just, you know, if there's something out there to learn, I'm going to do whatever I can to learn it, you know.
watching Bully Talk, Bully Roundtable live. If you want to get in on the chat, you can hit us up on Facebook, you can hit us up on YouTube, or you can hit us up on the Google Hangouts chat room. We'll get to you as soon as we can. It's a question I was asked. Actually, he said he tried to ask you to me, but you didn't answer. So he says, when in your program do you do an outcross? When is the right time? We're gonna go ahead.
I was just getting ready to read that. I actually just pulled it up right here.
Go ahead. It's on you, Tom. Go ahead.
Okay, so when in your program do you do an outcross? That's all right. So basically, Jorge, I try to lock in my features. So I try to create a consistent look and get high percentage litters. Once I've created that within my own blood, then I seek a source to bring in that vigor. Because when you do any kind of line breeding or inbreeding, you lose substance. You lose like the bone, the head. You know, you lock in certain traits, you know, and that's important. So you want to look for an outcross for that vigor. That's going to intensify those traits again. So not till I have a line or I have a family of dogs consistent to what I'm looking for, do I search for an outcross.
Don't necessarily breed yourself into a corner, you know, that you can't get out of by inbreeding and line breeding your own stuff. You know, but like Tony said, establish the traits that you want within your program, you know, and then look for your out. That's not going to change the look, but that's going to complement what you already have.
Also, we got to touch on it too for the people that don't already have programs established. You know, anytime you take, until you start line breeding and inbreeding on your own blood, anytime you take dogs together that are not related, you're already out. That's why a lot of people don't get any consistency in their litters, because they keep outcrossing and not realizing that that's what they're doing. If you double outcrossing and triple outcrossing your dogs, you'll never get into consistency. So you want to try to breed within your program and then do your outcross. But as long as you're not breeding to any stock that has blood in common, you're already outcrossed. Go ahead, Tom. Damon.
Okay, real quick, Christina says you guys, she loves you. Don't forget the Arkansas Bully Bash, February 13th, Little Rock, Arkansas. And we also got a request for MC Angulation, aka Tony Gold, to drop a freestyle.
Oh no! I can't. I'm shy, man. I can't freestyle.
Don't get him started. He won't stop.
Okay. And real quick, Lawrence, I'm gonna answer a technical question real quick. I think his name is Luigi. I'm gonna say it's probably not your name, sir, but I'm sorry. If you want to listen to the show and not actually stream the video, go into your settings on YouTube and make sure you have the plugin called YouTube Red. That's YouTube Red, and that'll allow you to be able to just listen to the show like you're on SoundCloud and not actually have to watch the video in case you're working out or whatever you're doing. And then also, if you want to stream it on the TV, it has an option in your YouTube settings as well. So just to answer both of those questions. Next question is, let's see here. Hold on one second. Okay. Next question is, I have a puppy who seems to have a problem with discipline. What do you guys do to discipline your dogs? She says, I know I would never hit a dog. My heart is not that hard. But what are some of the things I can do to kind of curb his appetite for chewing and other destructive behavior?
I mean, as far as chewing goes, that's pretty simple. Encourage the dog. It's going to take a little time, a little effort, a little money, but buy a bunch of chew toys. Figure out what that dog likes, what that trigger is, and teach him that, hey, chewing up shoes isn't good, but chewing up these toys I buy you, that's fine. Let him chew that all day long. But I mean, chewing is one of the easiest things to fix. That's a lot of mental energy that needs to be expelled. You need to take the dog for walks. You need to exercise the dog. You need to stimulate it somehow. And you can find those interactive chew toys, where you could roll it around and it spits out a treat. It's perfect for puppies because it keeps them entertained. It keeps them from chewing up your walls and your shoes and focuses that energy on something else.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
Go ahead, Law.
I teach my dogs what they're allowed to chew and what they're not. Because some puppies are just going to chew no matter what you give them. So like remotes and stuff like that, instead of hiding things from the dog, if you're not teaching them not to chew it by hiding the things and picking things up off the floor. So I like to leave things on the floor and just, watching when the puppy goes to I'll give him a lunch or a fork. And he'll come back and do it again, and I'll do it again, and tell him no, and he'll understand that belongs to me, like I'm claiming it by doing that. So he'll understand that if I walk out of the room and forget to pick up my remote, I'm not gonna come back, and it's not gonna be in 1,000 pieces. So that's how I teach my puppies not to chew.
Yeah, I mean, basically, let's remember they're puppies, and puppies are teething, so they need something to chew on. They want to chew. That's in a dog's nature. So, like Ryan and Lawrence said, you want to be able to get them the proper toys. This is a breed that has powerful jaws. They can really destroy stuff. So, you don't want to get them any toys that they can swallow. You want hard toys, like either some bones or some Kong toys, things like that they can't destroy. As far as, go ahead, Ryan?
I was gonna say, you can, if you know where a slaughterhouse is or a butcher shop, you can get the femurs, with all the tendons and everything, the bone marrow in it. They freaking love those. Anything from Kong that's the black rubber. For some reason, if you get the red or the blue or whatever, they tear it to confetti. But I buy those big black Kongs. I stuff them with peanut butter. Shit, you'll have it for a year, maybe 2.
Yep. Unless you have a special dog. I have dogs that can disintegrate them. And
Right.
Sometimes you get the ones that would shoot through a monster truck tire, but that's a different story.
You wanna save money on chew toys? After you teach your dogs not to chew certain things, right? Don't laugh at me, y'all. Y'all ready? This is how I make my chew toys, y'all. Y'all ready? That's old sneakers, old boots, whatever. You cut all the leather off and you let the puppies chew on them. They can't really chew through it. You know what I mean? And you don't have to spend any money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good idea. But back to what I was saying. Discipline. I always tell people, hitting a dog, that really doesn't get you anywhere. But remember, dogs are, especially puppies, they're gonna chew because they're teething, and dogs, that's just a way for them to channel get their frustration out.
And they need to exercise and they need to loosen up those puppy teeth.
Right.
And work their jaws because they're bully breeds. They have really thick jaw muscles and they have muscles on top of their head. And to develop those muscles, they need to chew. And that's why they want to chew like that. So you got to give them something to chew on.
And you got to teach them where to channel that energy, like that energy. That's a way for them to release frustration and stuff. I find that dogs that exercise a lot, they tend to chew less. But you want to stay consistent. You want to be firm. I don't believe in hitting, hitting dogs.
Right, I nudge them. When I poke them.
That's what I do. Just basic puppy, just no, bad. And they'll learn what they can and can't chew, but you want to make sure they have access to things that are going to keep them occupied and keep them entertained. That way they don't get into other things and chewing on your shoes and things like that. But stay consistent, stay firm in your voice when you make the correction. That is the key. They have to know the different tones of voices when you're speaking to them normally and when they do something bad and you're giving them an order, and that's how you establish yourself as an alpha. So,
yeah, the tone of your voice is the easiest way to establish dominance with a puppy. It doesn't have to resort to being physical with a puppy. Yeah, every now and then it's going to need to be corrected, but just the tone of your voice, you would be surprised what it can do with a puppy.
All right, Damien?
Damien, it's on you, sir.
Okay. Next question is, I know you guys touched on this before, but they're wanting to know what's the next blood you're looking to bring into your yard. And I'm thinking this as far as like outcrosses that is not in your yard now. What's gonna be the next blood that's gonna contribute to your ideal bully?
Well, it's not about blood because most of this stuff is not a bloodline. The problem that we have in the bully world, everyone is marketing and pushing these dogs as their stuff as a bloodline when it's not even a bloodline yet.
Not necessarily bloodline, just blood. Period.
Right. Well, I mean, I can say Gotti blood, but like we talked about earlier, there are different strains. There's different families of Gotti blood. So
and another thing that you need to address to the newcomers is, you see these dogs, so-and-so line, and it could have been a dog that lived, to be 2 years old or could he live to be 10 years old, and they just bred the shit out of it, and so now they're going to say, oh, well, this is Lysol line. No, it's not Lysol line. There's no such thing. That's another thing that I don't understand is I see all these different, so-and-so line popping up. We'll trace that back and see where it went to. See if that look continued down that line.
Right. Yep.
But as far as what I'm going to, I think all of us together, if we're going to try to bring anything new to the yard, no, I mean, I'm not looking to bring anything new to the yard. I have the tools that I need. Now it's time to work with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty good myself. I've done my outcrosses. I've been working on my outcrosses this past, year and a half. So I should be pretty good. I mean, I have my eye on a couple dogs, but again, that's a network of friends, dogs I get to see in person, or dogs that I like. And when you have that right female, I may go to one of them, but we'll see. It's too early to tell right now.
Me personally, when I look to add something to my yard, I'm looking to add a new dog. I'm not, you know, so much blood per se. It'd be the dog and what it carries because I'm not setting my program yet to where I feel like I need like to go searching for certain blood to do outcrosses. I breed phenotype, so I'm looking more for physical specimens to add to my program rather than blood.
All right. We have a question, Lawrence. Should I
Right.
ask it, or do we have something else?
But
All right. This is from Full Circle Bullies. We have what is the hardest flaw to breed out or to avoid?
Skeletal flaws, absolutely 100%. And that, I mean, if you have skeletal flaws, I don't think it's going to take generations to breed that out. And do you want to produce 60 to 80 puppies with those flaws just to get what you want, or do you just want to stay away from that completely?
You want to be specific, Ryan, in like a certain area, like certain.
The thing that I see a lot in the bullies, I see that is disappearing. I see rears that are disappearing. I see terrible roachbacks, swaybacks, and these are issues that take place within the skeletal system, and it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. If you have an awesome dog, say he's got, and I'm sure you guys know kind of who I'm talking about. He's got an incredible head. He's got an incredible chest. He's got straight front feet, but everything from the withers back is jacked. When you breed to that dog, that's gonna pass down. And people don't understand that. Oh yeah, have you seen that dog? Oh man, do you see his head though? Don't just breed for one specific trait. Breed for an overall dog.
Yep. I agree, and you see it. You see a lot of these studs that lack in areas. You look down, and the offspring, you're on 3 generations after, they're still passing the same, flaws over. What I'm gonna say, to me, from my experience, the rear. It's something that we lie in American belief, but the rear is one of the hardest things to fix in a dog. Undershots, those skip generations come back. But a rear, you got to realize, man, the rear is the driving point of a dog. Even though a dog bears most of its weight, 60 to 70% on the front end, the rear is like the driving force. So that's very important, to have a well put together rear on a dog, because you're going to see the effects of bearing all this weight over time. And you're going to see your dog will hit 5, 6 years old if it's straight stifled. And, one thing leads to another. Hip dysplasia, all kinds of stuff. So the rear is very important, and it's hard to correct.
That was the first thing that I said. I'm glad we're on the same page there. And it's not, you got to have a well-rounded dog. You got to have an awesome rear on it, because not only just for the look aspect, but you're going to see it. If you plan on showing your dog, you're going to see the movement of that dog. If that rear is not there, the movement's going to be off, and that dog's going to go nowhere.
Yep. And I'll compromise. I'll compromise on the front end a little bit. I'd rather have a dog that just is a little off in the front than a dog with a completely shot rear. But most people go the opposite route, because the front is the first thing that you look at a dog. They'll give you a front shot, and then you just totally disregard everything else in a dog, because that's the first thing that you're seeing, that head and that front end. But in reality, to me, the rear is a lot more important than a dog that toes out a little bit on the front end, Go ahead, Lawrence.
Let me see. I'm over here trying to see if I can improve things on the show here. So let me see if I can try something. Can y'all see that?
There you go.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah. That's Porky. That's Ron Ramos's dog.
I mean, you like that. Now I'll be more prepared next time. Can you still see it?
Yeah,
I think that's I think he's a gaff and corrupt outcross, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, you're
Can you
correct.
guys see my? Can you see my mouse?
The mouse isn't in movement.
Oh, okay.
No, that's pretty good. You're getting all fancy on me, son.
I'm getting a little better. I'm getting a little better. So
Diagrams and shit.
you know what the show's about to go. Now it's about to get nice. See, now we get to explain the things that we're talking about. We're talking about any medical issues or any deformities. We can bring up actual examples of these things. This is we getting better, y'all. We getting
And
better.
this diagram here was created by Corey the Bully Doc. Very helpful person in the community. She also, I believe, wrote a book. What was the name of her?
She's gonna be on Tuesday.
Is she? Awesome.
Gonna be on. Look at that. I didn't even know that was a diagram. Look at that. Shout out to the bully doc. Okay, go ahead, Damien. Let's move on. We gonna have a nice show Tuesday.
Oh, she's great, man. She's a lot of help. Her husband, great guy also. So maybe we'll have her husband on. We'll see if he wants to get on also.
Okay. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question. Can you guys share your views on two topics? The first, why we see so many XLs with no substance, and the second, why is it such a common practice to take an extremely bully but structure flawed dog to a clean dog and hope the pups are bully yet clean?
Damien, stop. Put that in a two-part question because you know with everybody talking and giving their explanation.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
And I think we've already answered the question about the XLs and having, you know, lacking substance and stuff like that. Just because the gene pool is so diverse. You know, there's 10, 12 different breeds of dogs that they use to make up the XL American Bully. I think we've already hit on that.
I think it goes a little bit further, though, Ryan, because I think it goes back to breeding practices also, about people just thinking every dog is breeding quality, and then you lack type. You know?
That's something else that we've hit on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's plenty of XLs that have plenty of mass, but there's a lot, just like standards, just like pockets. They have the height, but they lack the breed type. They lack the bulliness. They lack that substance that we seek and that the breed is supposed to have. So it just all comes down to the breeders and people not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I agree.
Hey, before we move on, let me. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just agreeing with Tony.
Yeah, I don't know anything about XL, so I won't answer that. We had a question from somebody a while ago. He wanted an example of smut, and it's so beautiful that I figured out how to do this because now I can get.
Oh man, bam!
Of smut. So, just give me 1 second.
He didn't tell us he was a computer whiz.
Oh yeah, man. You know he plays dumb.
Damien is the computer whiz. I'm just.
Hey, but who's pulling up diagrams and this and that? Hey, Damien.
Hey, listen. If the show get better, listen. That's beautiful. Now we cooking with fire.
You got me, bro. I can't even figure out how to turn the light on in here, man.
Okay, this is a smut. This is an example of smut because there's several.
Yeah, it's a bad example. Try to find.
Hold on. I'm gonna go through all of them. This is an example of smut. Smut, you will generally be. This one has kind of points, but it's generally going to be a dog that carries like a tri-dog pattern without points, and they won't have the whole suit and all of that. I'll give you another example. Here's an example. Can you guys still see that?
Yeah, these are very light.
Yeah, it's not really defined.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really see the points.
Yeah. Also, smut is also. I'm not a color guy, but it's also a sable also, right, Ryan?
What's that? Say that again.
Yeah. You're right.
It's also referred to as sable, right? Smut.
Right. Sable try, smut try, same thing.
Yep. Man, this is dope. Man. there's all different types of animals, but generally it's gonna look like a tribe, but it won't have any points.
Just put in smut.
Yeah, are you Googling Sable or are you Googling Smut?
Smut.
Yeah, Google Sable Track.
Exactly, yep.
Right there, that's right there. No, that's more tribe, no tribe.
I mean, that's a better example. You can see
Better example right
the
there.
light. Yeah, you can see the light color, the dark color, and the white.
So this will be a smut right here.
Yep, a smut or sable. Yep, that's a good example.
Okay, go ahead, Damien. Let me get out of here.
Okay, next question is, you guys have talked about strains of different bloodlines. If you guys were going to set up a system to recognize bloodlines, what would be the criteria to start your own bloodline? What would be the rules that you guys would have put in place?
There's already rules in place. What do you mean?
I don't think you need to create.
There's already rules in place.
Well, I mean, those rules ain't really recognized.
Okay, this is how you should look at it. Nobody should be out there to create a new bloodline unless you're trying to create a new breed. Okay, because you got to look at it this way: the blueprint is already laid out. Okay, the American Bully blueprint is already laid out. We already have standards that we're supposed to be breeding towards, and the blueprint is there. You know, now it's time to build the house off the blueprint. You know, these people who try to create their own bloodlines, they just winds up getting them nowhere. They breed for 10 years. You know, they breed their stuff over and over and over for 10 years, and nothing ever comes out. Nothing big ever comes out of it. You know, the blueprint is there. Time to build off of it.
Right. Right.
What do you think, Tony?
Got two windows open. Your other
I lost you guys.
but your other one is there. You go. It just goes.
There it goes.
All right, go ahead.
I agree with Ryan. I mean, he just basically, he said all everything that I would say. It's there. Everything is here. I mean, and I mean, there's so many different people doing different things, so I can understand how someone new to the breed can get lost. To tell you the truth, man, I mean, I know it's got to be hard because we have so many different variations. You have so many different variations being thrown in your face, but you know, try to understand the standard of the breed, read it, understand it, and kind of focus on the dogs that are out there winning in the show ring. That'll give you an idea of where the breed's supposed to be at. That's just my view on things. You know, someone else might have a different view. You know, some people just breed for a wow factor, and that's cool. But myself, I breed towards the standard.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is, we can all agree that a lot of awesome bullies are never even shown in the show ring. With that being said, what are some of the best dogs that you've seen that nobody's ever heard of?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at thinking on my...
What was the question, Damien? I was looking at a message from Christina.
Basically, she said, since you guys can all agree that a lot of people with awesome dogs don't show in the ring, what's some of the best dogs you've seen that nobody's ever heard of?
I really can't answer that. I mean, nothing comes to mind. I mean, most of the dogs that I become infatuated with or I really appreciate and like and look at as a benefit to the breed, I've seen through the show ring. Not saying that I haven't come across any nice dogs, but
and that goes back to looking at you know, when we were talking about don't just judge a dog off of pictures, you know, but you know, I'm gonna agree with Tony because when you see these dogs that are out in a show ring, you get to see the entire dog. You see its ring presence, you see its attitude, you see its temperament, you know, you see how it moves, you know, how the functionality of that dog. You know, to me, that's the only way to break down and judge a dog overall is to see it in action like that. You know, yeah. So to say that there's somebody that has badass dogs that don't show it, why not?
I mean, there are people that just breed and don't show, but 9 out of 10 you won't see any of their dogs because they don't go to shows and unless you traveling around. Facebook stopped the days of where people would go to people's yards, get in cars, 10 deep, and ride out to another state and go see the dogs in person. People don't do that no more because you got Facebook, you got YouTube. You got Facebook, you got YouTube, you got all these different ways you can see dogs now. You got Bullypedia, So all of that's changed now. So most of the interaction you're gonna have with other people's dogs is gonna be either through social media or going to shows. So, and a lot of times, and this is just being real, a lot of times you get disappointed when you see the dogs that you are anxious to see when you get to the shows, and you get disappointed because you were dependent on those pictures.
I think the best compliment that you can hear is when people come up to you and they tell you, man, your dogs look so much better in person than they do in pictures.
Right.
Like, to me, that's what I strive for. I love to hear that. It never ever gets old.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Ryan, we have a request for you to talk about the blood you're working with in your yard and kind of the vision for your program.
Well, I don't just stick to one type of blood in the yard currently. I have Leo, who I kind of based a lot of stuff off of. He's a lot of gap, a little bit of Gotti on the bottom side. I have 100% Gotti line female. I got the one I just bred Chewy to, was off of them two. I took him to some heavy Goliath, some old school edge. I got a Biz daughter. I mean, I have a mix of stuff, I have a lot of Razor Edge stuff, but it's different strains of Razor Edge. Yeah, I have a lot of Gotti stuff. It's different strains of the Gotti line. But I would say like the main three, if you were just gonna generalize it into bloodlines, would be Razor Edge, Gotti line, and Gaff.
Can you talk a little bit about your vision for your program that you have?
I pretty much just adhere to the written standard, that ABKC has laid out for a standard dog. I try to keep my males around 17, 18. A big dog doesn't really scare me off. Now that the extreme class is gone, I think it kind of forces us breeders to produce a bullier dog, on a standard frame. So I'm going to be incorporating some new stuff. I'll bring in some corrupt stuff like that, because I would like an 80, 90 pound dog on a 17-inch frame. I mean, to me that's a bull. That's a monster. So there is no extreme anymore. But I kind of want to flirt with that line. I want to produce a standard dog with extreme features, but still keep it show ring clean.
And if anybody wants to get in touch with Ryan, since I'm feeling myself right now because I learned how to do this, this is where you can reach him at on Facebook. Do you have a YouTube channel, Ryan?
No, I don't have a YouTube channel.
You have an Instagram?
Yeah, it's at Smoking Barrel Bullies _TX. It's SMOKIN Barrel Bullies _TX.
Hopefully everybody can see that. That's where you want to get in touch with him. That's where you can reach him at. I'm feeling myself.
That's Ryan showing a little sexy leg right there.
Okay. I like this. Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next we have a genetics question. Basically, he said, I'm kind of new to breeding, and I want to add mass to my dogs. I see a lot of people using exotic lawns like toad lawns and things like that to add mass. My question is,
Mass.
That's a joke, man.
well, I'm just reading the question.
I understand. And this is, I'm going to ask, I don't know who wrote this question, but I'm going to ask them a question. What are your females like? What lines are your females coming from? When you're trying to shop for a stud, you need to say, well, a lot of people look at it the wrong way. a lot of people when they're shopping for a stud, they go, well, what could a stud bring me? You need to say, well, what can my bitch do for your stud? That's the way you need to be looking at it if you're a breeder, in my opinion. You need to see, what lines are you coming from. If you're coming out of classic lines, well, guess what? I don't care who you breed that dog to, you're not gonna produce a standard dog. If you're coming out of classic lines, you could breed it to an English bulldog. I don't care. All you're gonna do is produce a faulty litter. You gotta know where your bitch is coming from. You gotta know what's behind her before you decide to pick a stud. So I'm gonna ask him that question: what lines are your females coming from? Why are you trying to add the girth?
Okay, that actually was a question, but that was good information. He just wants to know basically if the flaws that you see in those lines have a good chance of being reproduced down the line from the breeding.
Absolutely.
I think
once you breed a flaw into the program.
I think he misunderstood what you were trying to tell him. What he's saying is, if you have a female that's more on the classic side, breeding to a dog like that is not going to add girth to your program. He got cut off. Make sure all right, he's back in.
Yeah, flaws. Those flaws are going to come through.
You want to make, right, not just the flaws, but I hear people say that all the time. Just take it to something short and chop the legs off, or just take it to something boned up and you add, boy, that's not. If your female is a classic bitch and her back is classic, it doesn't matter that he's built a certain way. You'll be lucky if you get one puppy like that, but that dog won't produce that look because of his back. So it's not how you put dogs together. You want to match dogs up because of the way that they complement each other, the way that they, the way that they complement each other, pet-wise and build-wise, the way the dog is built and things like that. So it's not about trying to add girth by going to certain types of dogs. That's not how you do
it. It's kind of going backwards.
Yep.
Right.
You compromise a lot for a little,
It's not worth it. You should try to breed to get an entire litter of nice dogs, not breed to get one nice dog out of an entire litter.
Right. Why do you think you see so many dogs that you see that they put up that word direct that son on so many posts, and you look at the dog and you don't see any traits whatsoever of the dog, and that's because they took a female, like what he's saying, and took it to Dax hoping that they could strengthen their puppies out by taking their classic bitch to a dog that looks like that, and you see what you get. They're gonna pull from their mom. So if the mom is a classic bitch, you might get one puppy that shows some of those features, but it's not gonna carry. If you breed to a dog because you like the way it looks, then you should expect to get puppies that look like that. And by breeding to bitches like that, you're not gonna get puppies like that.
Yep.
Your bitch has to have the type. If you're trying to produce a standard dog, you're trying to produce a bully pocket dog, your bitch has to have that type before you decide to take it to whatever male. That's just my way of thinking.
I look at it like this, okay? And I'll explain like this. If you take a Rottweiler and you breed it to a Doberman, okay, are you going to get a Rottweiler? No, you're not. It's the same thing with our dogs. If you're grabbing a classic dog and breeding it to a dog that's completely opposite in build and with different features, you're not going to get the outcome you're searching for. You're not going to get a look that conforms to the breed standard. And I hope I explained that right.
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Covered it. Go ahead, Damien.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
Okay. They say, with that being said, what's the proper way to go about adding bone and substance to your dogs?
If you're doing it, starting off with dogs that don't carry substance, the way you do it is real slow. Because it's going to take you forever.
It's going to take you at least 3 to 4 generations if you're just trying to
decide, when you purchase your first dogs, when you getting into whatever breedings that you're trying to do. Christina don't agree with me. She never agrees with me, and that's okay. She can come back on Tuesday, and we can have it out.
We'll hash it out on Tuesday then.
Okay, Christina. See, now she made me forget what I was saying. I'm gonna get you. Go Go ahead, Tony, because you made me forget what I was saying.
Was there a question here? I don't know.
I was just jumping back. She laughing at me now. That ain't right, Christina. Yeah, I was just piggybacking off of something what I was saying. But it basically, you know, you want to make sure. Oh, no, that's what it was. I got you. I was saying that you do it. He said, how do you go about doing it if you want to add bone to your program? And I said you go about it real slow, because if you're taking dogs that don't carry that substance and you're trying to add it to your program using those dogs, then you're going to have to do it generation by generation.
Yeah.
You have to decide when you come in this game what style of dog you like. That's why you can't rush and say, I only got 1,500, so I'm going to just grab this and make it work. And then later on, when you start learning and start understanding what it is that you like and what you're looking for, you start to realize that this don't work. So what do? You say, well, I'm going to breed to this stud because he's going to take me. That's not how it works.
That's the backwards way of thinking. That's what I was saying. What can your bitch offer that stud?
Right. People don't put enough emphasis on the females. Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, you could get bone. I mean, these. American Bully is supposed to have some kind of, something. They're not supposed to be a frail bone dog anyway. So if you have a good specimen, you might not have the bone that you're seeking, but you should have a decent, you should have some nice substance there, in the legs or throughout the body. So the best thing to do, man, is just breed your dog with a dog that's carrying that trait that has good bone.
And don't take it out into left field, with this toad line stuff or whatever they're saying. Don't go. Pretty much, that's taking it to another breed. Honestly, if we're being 100% honest here, you're not outcrossing at that point. You're taking it to an entirely different breed, and that's not the right way to do it.
Hold on, guys. I want to show them something. My computer's working extra slow because I got the stream going, so just bear with me one second. Go ahead, Damien. I'll come back to it.
I think Damien stepped away.
Okay, I got it.
No. Okay.
Hold on, check this out. All right. I came in the game. I didn't know jack about anything about the bully game, and I went to Reading. No, Pottstown, and this was the first dog I bought. Okay. This was the first dog I bought.
Pretty dog.
His name was Fat Boy. He was mean as hell, but he's a pretty dog, but he wasn't what I thought he was going to turn out to be. And I thought that by looking at the dog's peg, and I was going to get something that I wasn't going to get. You know what I'm saying? I looked at they told me what the pet was. They showed me who the parents was. They showed me who the grandparents was. And I said, yeah, I want that. And so I got the dog, and that's what he grew up to be. He wasn't what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So, I bred him according to other pedigrees that I saw, like everybody that comes in the game that don't know nothing. Bred him to other pedigrees that I saw that was similar to pedigrees that I saw with dogs that were way thicker, thinking that I was going to add bone to my program, and I didn't. I got dogs that were exactly the same as the two dogs that I bred together. So that was my first experience with the bullies. Go ahead.
I hope that helped him out.
Hold on. Let me. Christina said, I'm going to disagree on this, that I do have a female that champed out as a stand-in now. She will be considered a classic, but she throws bully dogs. I feel like blood plays a part as well, and that's absolutely true, especially when you're pairing them up with the right dogs to pull those traits out. And Just Cause says, oh, okay, no, he was busting my chops. Okay, go ahead, Damien. I think you muted, Damien. Damien, you muted.
Next question, you guys pretty much answered that, but this question is about the show season. It says, with the show season ramping up, Tony, is it common practice for judges to get? Next question, you guys pretty much. Can y'all hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, is it common practice for judges to get together and talk about certain traits that they're going to show that they're going to try to bring out this season?
I can't hear. I didn't hear the question. It broke up so bad. I don't know if it's me.
Go ahead.
It's all of us.
Go again, Damien.
I'm sorry about that. My computer turned itself on. But basically, they want to know, with the show season ramping up, is it common practice for judges, for registries rather, to get with judges and talk about certain features on the dogs that they need to focus on improving within the breed?
I mean, usually not. Usually not.
Unless the written standard has changed, I would say no.
Yep. That's not usually something that really goes on. I mean, is it something that should go on? I mean, as a registry to direct with the direction of where the breed's going, so I think that's important. I think, registries should have more seminars or get-togethers to where they discuss these kind of things.
And they also have a follow-up question, Tony. They want you to talk about well, I guess everybody can answer this question. They want you guys to talk about something that you're excited for, or any changes that you guys see coming this year during show season.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see any changes. I mean, the changes that have been made. I don't know what changes we would see during the show season. I really don't know how to answer that.
I'm excited to get some of my offspring in the ring, but I don't know about any changes.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, just the normal routine, man. Get out there and do that thing.
That's actually the next question. Who are y'all showing this year in the ring? Everybody.
I got a few. I'm focusing on 2 males. I have a dog, Perseus, that I'm really excited about. I have a dog, Bobby Peru. He's 10 months old. He's off of my Hull dog, my Hull boy. A dog who's off of my Champion Boss Hog, a Cinnamon Blitz. And he was just a monster of a dog. So I got Bobby, and he's just, to me, he's just the ideal American bully, and a phenomenal specimen. So I'm really excited about him. I think he's going to be a hard dog to beat in the ring. He's what I've been waiting for a while. I just wish he was chocolate or champagne. He's blue. No, I know, man. You got the chocolate boy. The champagne. What color is he?
Chewy's who I'm gonna start campaigning this year. Beowulf is his registered name. We just call him Chewy. He's chocolate, and then I got a fawn Bismarcky daughter I'm gonna bring out. Let's see what else I got. I got one of Leo's daughters that I got out on a co-own with Ryan Hall and Caitlin Lewis. She'll be hitting it pretty hard this year. So just a few prospects. Just get it out there. We got probably 3 or 4 dogs that we're working with this year. Gonna try to get titled.
I'm gonna be taking Boss out to finish him out. Grand Champ, ABKC and RKC. I'm gonna be taking Lingo out. That's pretty much it until I get some more. Cause I got other productions, but they're not show dogs, so they're not going in the ring. I'll be taking them out to the shows, but they won't be going. So Boss and Lingo, I'll be putting in the ring this year.
Rachel just reminded me of Sephora. We got another dog, Sephora. She was out of my last litter. She was my female keeper out of my last litter. She's 7 months and she needs 1 more major to champ out. So
Nice.
Hopefully we'll get that done here in the next couple shows.
Okay. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay,
lose
sorry
me?
about that, gentlemen. No, I'm back
There
with
he
you.
is.
Okay, next question is, I know you can enter a pup in the ring at 6 months, but what if you guys would have an ideal situation? What would you like the pup to have accomplished before you enter them into the show ring? I'm
Um,
assuming they're talking about as far as training, like what things do they need to have down packed and stuff like that.
First,
He,
they're not gonna have anything down.
stack. I mean, basic.
But you want them to have a basic. You don't want them to be shy. So you want to take them out. You want to play with them. You want to play with them, but you want to play with them doing all of the things that they're gonna do in the ring. You want to push down on them. You want to play with their tail. You want to play. You know, show me your teeth.
And not only that, but it goes along exactly with what you're saying. Have other people do those things to the dog as well, so that way they're not scared, or they're not, they don't think it's a game when a judge comes up to examine the dog, to check the bite, check the tail, like you said, push down on the hindquarters, you know, that goes back to socializing the dog. If you want a show dog, you're going to have to practice everything that you are going to encounter in the ring with that dog at a young age. The younger, the better.
What I do, whenever I go out, I make sure I got my wallet with me and it's full of my cards. Keep my cards on me. If I don't have one of my T-shirts or my sweatshirts on, I have one of these on. I got my dog with me. And if somebody stops me and asks me about my dog, asks about the breed, I use that as an opportunity to stack the dog in front of somebody that they don't know. I'll be like, yeah, I breed and show. And then I take the dog and I'll stack them up real quick. And I let them pet them while the dog is stacked up, so they understand that when I want them to stack up, and
It's time to work.
they don't know. So I do it at Tractor Supply, I do it at Lowe's, wherever. Anytime somebody asks me about my dog, I do that, and then before I walk away, I hand them a card. And if you're a breeder, and also you advocate for this breed, you want as many people to know about this breed as you can. So I'm handing these people my card, and I'm telling them visit my YouTube, visit my Facebook page, learn more about the breed. You know what I mean? It's not all about a sale, because I don't have no puppies when I'm handing out my cards. I'm just handing out my cards to give people something to look at, like, oh, let me check this out. I'm going to go check out this new breed. So, it helps to keep cards with you, because they may ask you, and I get asked all the time, you got a card? And I go on my wallet and I pull it out. Nobody wants to stand there and be like, write my number down. And, nobody wants to do that, or put my number in your phone. They don't have time. You just hand them a card and keep it moving. But you use that as an opportunity to socialize your dog with people that they don't know. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Tony, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead.
Pretty much killed it right there.
Mhm.
Okay, we got somebody who wants to know about you guys' whelping setup. I guess we're going to go each individual person. Can you give us an idea of how your whelping room is set up?
Yeah, give me a second. You guys go ahead. Give me a second. I actually have mine set up right now. Let me get Kuba pulled out, and I'll flip the camera around so I can show you guys. So give me just a second.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I have several setups. I have one in my house. Basic particle board set up. I have pictures on my Facebook. I also have a shed, a 12 by 26 foot shed with heaters and heat lamps that have two. I mean, I don't ever need them at the same time. I only usually ever have one litter. So, but I have that set up with rubber mats underneath. I actually have doors where the mothers could come in and out. So they have heat lamps and heaters. And then I also have one in my building that has two heat lamps. Has rails. It also has a platform for steps so that puppies could come in and out once they reach that age. It's a special, platform that I build. That's about, what my setup consists of.
I used to have a real big whelping box with a trap door into a area where they would go to the bathroom and all that. It was real big. But I think I used it twice. One time I lost like 3 puppies to the mother laying on them. So ever since then, I don't do whelping boxes or anything like that. When I have a litter, I like to stay right next to my litter for the first 2 weeks. I have my wife come in here and hang out with the puppies while I go and shower and do whatever I need to do. But my puppies are never alone, so I just keep them in my office in the pool, and I have a couch that I pull right up against the pool, and I sleep less than a foot away from my puppies for the first 2 weeks. And I'm up like every maybe 15, 20 minutes, checking, counting puppies, making sure nobody's getting squashed, and then I go back to sleep for another 20 minutes. I mean, I don't get any sleep when I got a litter. Until they get 3.5, 4 weeks old, I don't get any type of sleep.
That's the same thing I'm going through right now. Is
I see
the no sleep phase. Let's see if I can figure out how to click this. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, my whelping box is 3/4 inch plywood. It's 4 feet wide. I think it's 2.5 feet wide, 4 feet long. I got 2x4s around the edges, so the pups have a place to tuck up under, when the mom is in here. I keep two heat lamps in here when the mom is out of here, and it keeps it at about somewhere between 80 and 85 degrees, for at least the first couple weeks, because, as you know, puppies can't regulate their own body temperature. I also have underneath this towel, I have a heating pad, I usually keep on a low setting, just for the extra warmth. Sometimes you'll see them, if I got the fan on above it, they'll come over and they'll sit on it. But the main thing is, you want to keep it clean in here. You want to keep it super sanitary. Coccidia is easy to pick up, when they're this young, because they're just crawling around in it. So if you can stay home, then it's definitely good. You're not going to get a whole lot of sleep, taking care of them, but it's not that difficult if you don't mind sacrificing sleep.
Yep. Pretty much. The puppies look nice, man.
Appreciate you, man.
That one right there in the middle.
Yeah, let me get one of the females real quick.
Ah, man, they gone already.
Yeah, I figured that.
Everything is going on. I'm keeping 2, and the rest are scattered around the country.
That's what's up. Congratulations, my brother. Hold on, I want to share Christina's banner. She has a show coming up February 13, 2016. It will be in Arkansas. And let me see if the address is on there. I don't see it unless I'm just blind. But I'll share the banner. Hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Banner right there. That's Christina Maxwell. If you want information, you can contact her. The number's on there. It's an ABKC sanctioned show. It will be in Arkansas again. If anybody sees the address on there, feel free to call it out because I don't see it. But like I said, if you need any information, contact Christina Maxwell. And again, it's February 13, 2016. Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, another question is, at what age do you allow people to come around your puppies?
Never.
Once they shots for me.
Yeah, they're fully vaccinated.
So tell them what happens when you come to my house and my puppies don't have their shots yet.
You pretty much douse yourself in Lysol before you step foot in my house.
No, he doesn't let you come in. He makes you stand on the porch.
Hey, there's no such thing as being too safe when it comes to puppies.
I don't let nobody in my house when I got puppies. If Now, I'm not going to say nobody. If you have dogs, you can't come in my house.
Hey, that's the easiest way to prevent anything right there.
Yeah, man. Because as soon as that happens, they'll argue with you that it wasn't them. So if that's the case, that way, if something comes in my house, it's because I brought it in my house, and I can't blame nobody but myself. I lose my litter, I'll be sitting here thinking of all the people that came to my house, and oh my God, it was probably this dude and that dude, and you know, nobody comes in my house until my puppies get this shot.
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I like people want to visit the yard. I don't allow people to visit the yard. You know.
Well, it's 11:05, guys, man. If y'all want to wrap it up, we can wrap it up. We'll be back on Tuesday. Who we have again, Damien?
We have on Tuesday the Bully Doc. She'll be with us in the first hour.
She'll be giving us a little information and talking about her book and all that good stuff. And then we'll let anybody that's interested in coming on and hanging out with us for 2 hours and getting in on a conversation, feel free. We're on episode 2 now, so pretty much you see how it works. Anybody's welcome. Come on, hang out with us. Just like I said, hit me up, hit Damien up, hit Tone up, send us your email. We'll send you an invite, and you come on. All you need is to have Google Hangouts installed and set up with your email. It's free. Go ahead and give a shout out, Ryan. We appreciate you coming in. Go ahead and give a quick shout out. You want to say anything before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I appreciate you guys letting me come in and join in on the conversation. This is it's pretty cool, man. It's an easy way to reach out to a lot of new people who you wouldn't have the ability to do that with. So I appreciate you guys letting me come on.
No problem. Hey, if you want to watch the show, you didn't get to catch it live, you can watch it on my YouTube channel. You can catch it on my Facebook, Tony's Facebook. Tony will be setting his YouTube up, and he'll be putting the videos on his YouTube too. Damien will help him figure that out, right, Damien?
Plug your YouTube channel so everybody knows where to go to watch it.
My YouTube channel, hold on, let me put that up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Tony, if you want. Hold on, let me put the camera on you. Go ahead, Tony, if you want to say anything before we get out of here while I put up my YouTube.
Like usual, I want to thank everybody listening in, everybody that has questions for us, everyone that participates. Thanks, Ryan, man. Appreciate you taking the time tonight and getting on. I know you probably had some better things to do, but I thank you. I'm a fan of your program. You guys are doing a hell of a job over there, man.
Sir.
Real big fan. There's not many people, you know. I mean, there's some people I respect in the community, but you're definitely one of them, man. Keep up the great work. Yeah, just thanks to everybody, man. Thanks. Keep the questions coming. Hope to hear from everybody next week. You know, thank you, Damien. Thank you, Lawrence. Another great, successful show. Everything went smoothly. I think we broke some new ground today, Lawrence, with your little little skills over there.
Little toys. I got some little toys over here, you know. But,
Yep.
This is my YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, you want to watch the show, you want to just check out, you know, the videos or whatever. Just go on there and type in eugenics bullies. It'll bring you right to my page. Please subscribe. It'll keep you updated. Any new videos. Also, Tony, once he gets his YouTube together a little better, next week we'll post up his. Please subscribe. That way, any videos that go up, any informational videos we'll be making in the near future, feeding, worming, caring for puppies, sick puppies, anything that occurs in our yards now that we think somebody can learn from, we're going to try to document it, and then we'll make a video and we'll post it. So subscribe to the YouTube. You might have that same problem, and you can just go ahead and hit the channel and boom, 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 and save yourself a couple dollars instead of, you know, pulling your hair out, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Once again, I appreciate everybody. Damien, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, one last quick question. You guys have already covered it, but somebody just wants to know kibble or raw, real quick.
I do both. Only does both.
Yeah.
I do both too. I do kibble for the main, for the most part. I do kibble, and I switch to an all raw diet about 2 or 3 weeks before a show.
Yeah, the dogs that I feed raw to, I do strictly raw. I don't do any kind of kibble. Of course, I believe raw is better than kibble. It's it's just the natural. It's what dogs have been eating for forever. So I believe that without all the fillers or without all the preservatives, it benefits the dog on the kibble. But there's some pretty good kibble out there. So either or is good, but
Definitely stick to a higher end kibble if you're gonna feed kibble.
yeah,
Don't
there you go.
don't let me catch y'all feeding no pedigree or nothing like that.
No doubt. Hey, once again, thank you everybody, man. This is the Bully Round Table. If y'all didn't peep it, go look at the banner. You'll see Tony peeking out in the background.
Whatever.
So funny. Go check it out. Hey, Ryan, man, I appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Tell somebody else if they want to come hang out with us, they're more than welcome to come hang out with us, man. Next week we'll be on. We have the Bully Doc on. I'm going to try to get Ruben Fry on, so, we get a little video of IHOP. We hang out with them for a little while.
We got Jamie Sweet coming on. We got Al Rivera. We got a bunch of people coming on. So
Hey, that's perfect. That'll open up a whole new light on the.
This is not just for American bullies also, so don't feel like if you got bulldogs or Frenchie Shorty bulls, whatever, that this is not for you. This is for bully community. I mean everybody. So hit us up. We'll be back on Tuesday at 9 o'clock-ish, somewhere around there. So,
all right. Everybody have a great weekend, man.
be safe out there. Everybody that's stuck in the snow, be careful, man. Everybody's going to show tomorrow, man. Good luck. And I appreciate y'all.